Peace and blessings, so fam. What's up? Welcome back to the channel. I said welcome back. So most of y'all, you're gonna hit that like button because that means you fam, okay? You subscribe, so you should be liking, okay? But either way, even if you're just passing through, I'm so excited to have you here. I hope that you decide to stick around by subscribing, or hey, maybe I'll see you around. Either way, you're here for a reason, and let's talk about it. All right, guys, I've been wanting to do this reading for a minute, but I couldn't come across the deck. Like, I always, when I have ideas for readings, it's like, okay, bet. But I have to see the particular deck I want to use to, like, implement the ideas. Like, I really be trying to let Spirit guide me. But anywho, we're going to be looking at messages from your shadow today. Okay, and I think it's good timing for that. Now, I'm recording this during eclipse season 2025, September, okay? We just had a full moon eclipse in Pisces on September 7th, and we're about to have a new moon eclipse in Virgo on September 21st, I believe. There's been a lot of purging, a lot of shadow. If you're watching this in real time, quote unquote, you know what's going on collectively in the world. It's a lot going on. This is the shedding. This is the dark night. We are seeing the truth in a lot of ways. Shadows are being exposed outside of us as well as within. So with that said, I'm going to be doing a reading from your shadow self, okay? Using the Shadow Work Oracle cards with the blend of tarot. Now, keep in mind, and most of you guys know this, that the shadow is not necessarily an evil part of ourselves or a bad part. Our shadow, a lot of time, is unprocessed trauma, fears, anxiety, worries, parts of ourselves we're ashamed of. We haven't even learned who we are, so it sabotages us. I also like to look at the shadow as like an inner child as well. Like, when children don't get their way and they need attention and they need love and nurturing, what do? They have tantrums. They knock stuff over. They cry. They scream. They throw things, okay? That's kind of what the shadow does, okay? The shadow gets your attention in ways that maybe aren't the best, okay? So just to give you a quick example, and I feel like most of you guys know what shadow work is. I feel like most people that are attracted to my channel are kind of already on the spiritual path, but say for instance, oh God, why am I being asked to use this example? No, Spirit, I don't want to use that example. But I am, okay, Spirit said use it, guys. So say for instance, someone likes the same sex, okay? Particularly, you would call somebody on the DL, down low, like be into the same gender, okay? But they're ashamed of it. They think it's bad, they think it's dark, but they feel comfortable. Their desire is to be with the same gender, romantically, okay? And intimately. Yet this person goes on to marry the opposite gender because that's what society says is the right thing to do. They suppress these desires, who they truly are, because of their family, society's opinion, guilt, shame, possibly inflicted on them growing up, only to, hey, one night be triggered through some sort of party, addiction, and end up hooking up with the same gender. And it was amazing. They loved it. And you know what they did? They kept doing it, but they kept it hidden because they didn't want to be exposed. They were afraid of the backlash. They have a family, blah, blah, blah. That is shadow behavior. Now, there's nothing wrong with liking the same gender, in my opinion. Everybody like what they like. None of my business. But when you lie and you get other people involved and you live a false life and you wear a mask and you go behind your spouse or whoever you made a vow to's back, and you sleep, whether it's the same gender or not, that is a shadow. And that not only is it more so, denial of self, it's also denying people the choice to choose whether they want to be with you. For instance, I don't know if somebody's watching this in this position, and I'm not here to offend anybody. I love everybody, okay? But say for instance, you made a decision, like say you came out, like say, for somebody like me, I'm gonna be honest, and let me get on my soapbox for a little bit. I know I'm chatty patty right now, but when I'm dating somebody, I ask if they're into the same sex. This day and age, you damn near have to, or they ever thought about it, or how would they feel, just to get a gauge of what I'm dealing with. Okay, not saying that person still can't go lie, but at least I have addressed the issue and didn't assume anything, right? Now, if this person still goes behind my back and does things based off of the truth they told me and does the opposite, now you have betrayed me and yourself, because you should have just done the work to like be who you truly are. And not saying you have to announce it from you know, with the megaphone and say, hey, you know, I'm into the same gender, or hey, you know, actually, you know, I am, I don't know, another example, guys. I'm just talking about shadow, how shadow can manifest, okay? It can manifest as addictions. Either way, we're going to get into the shadow. Okay, now remember, this is a general reading. It may or may not resonate with you. If you want to book a personal mini reading with me for just $33, or if you want to book a personal session, that information is in the description box, as well as how to follow me on other social media platforms. Enough of my soapbox now. Let's get into it. What are the messages from my viewer shadow? What do they want to share with them? Remember, this is not a linear storyline. I will do my best to cover everything. Messages from, okay. Sacred boundaries. Okay, right off the bat, this is about boundaries. It says, respecting and honoring your limits sets you free. Assertiveness and self-care. So your shadow is screaming for you to get firmer with your boundaries. Whether this be in relationships, boundaries with yourself, maybe you're overworking yourself, you need to practice more self-care. But your shadow is saying, hey, we need to be a little, we need to protect ourselves more. Okay? You could be too open. I'm hearing some of you guys could be empaths, and, you know, you just kind of take on everyone's energy. You let everybody dump on you emotionally. They can call you up any time of the night, vent to you. And maybe part of you likes feeling needed and important. That could be the shadow, likes getting the tea and the gossip. But then you resent people when you start to feel used, or you feel tired, okay? We also have making peace. In the midst of adversity lies the path to self-discovery, profound, genuine risk. So I feel like some of you guys, it's about the past. I'm going to say that right now. Some of you guys need to make peace with the past and place a boundary there. Making peace and placing a boundary doesn't mean you don't love those people anymore. You don't care. You're okay with what they did. No, it's just saying you're going to place the boundary and you're going to move on. You're not going to carry the pain and resentment and shame around a decision made. Maybe you need to make peace with your own shame, own guilt, own things you've done to hurt others, okay? Seductive allure. Okay, some of you guys, your shadow could come out in the form of what I said before. Instant gratification blinds you to the consequences, craving, promises, hidden. So some of you guys have a tendency to, you know, push down your sensuality, or, you know what I mean? Because when I see seductive allure as a shadow, it's like something about, let's just use it as what I was just saying. Something about doing something that's secret and hidden and that can have like this allure, blind you to the consequences of the action. Okay? I'm gonna be real. I'm getting somebody, you know, something about, oh my God, who am I channeling for? Who's watching this? No judgment, but I'm gonna go on and say I have not done this, but I'm getting it. Say, for instance, it's something about sleeping with a friend's girl or man that has this seductive allure because of the secret, you know, the chase, or seeing if you could do it. But at the end of the day, you know that that's not the right thing to do, okay? Some of you guys, we need to look at that. Not saying it's a bad thing to have sensual desires and want to do taboo things, but when you do it without the consequences, that's when it becomes a shadow, okay? Oh Lord, what y'all got going on? I'm not judging, but this is a shadow. These are things coming out. What else about my viewer shadow? And this could be all one person's shadow energy, or different, you know, different things are coming out for different people. Emotional release. See how that flew out on making peace? Some of you all definitely need to make peace with the past. Releasing anger, letting go, create space for new beginnings. So some of you guys are still definitely holding on to some anger here that needs to be released. It says catharsis, purification. So maybe this is, for some of you all, you are carrying a shadow around betrayal. Maybe you're on the other end. Maybe you have been betrayed. And you're being stubborn and you don't want to make peace with the betrayal and move on, so you can move on and discover yourself. You're stubborn. You're still thinking about it. Exactly. I'm getting that storyline for somebody in particular, very specific. You could have been betrayed in the worst way. And there's a part of you that still hasn't fully released this situation, and you are being stubborn. You're being, you know, you're holding a grudge. You know, you are just going to forever have beef with somebody. Okay. Not saying, like I said, you can't dislike them or not have anything to do with them, but some of you guys are still carrying heavy energy around some sort of betrayal, and it's like they're gonna pay. That's what I'm getting. But in all actuality, you're the one that's needing to place a boundary so you can have an emotional release and move on. See how this person's jogging down a new path. Let's get one more, then I'm gonna get some tarot about this. The unknown. Yeah, I think that's a lot of you guys. It's the fear of the unknown. It's like, okay, who am I outside of this shadow relating to? And listen, the shadow is a part of us. But that's why we do shadow work, to heal and integrate the shadow so it works for us and not against us. With the unknown here, I feel like many of you guys are clinging to a past situation, whether you're whatever end of the situation you're on, okay? You're clinging to a past situation because you don't know what the future holds without being a victim of this or without feeling bad about it and carrying the shame. It's like, well, who am I if I don't feel bad about what I did 10 years ago when I cheated or when I did this? I have to eat that. I lost something. I have to stand in this energy. I don't deserve to be forgiven and move on. So you're allowing yourself in that guilt to eat you up. Or like I said, if something was done to you, you know, my husband cheated on me and left me and had a whole other family and left me and the children. That fucking sucks. Okay, let me be the first to say that sucks. However, you're still clinging to that possibly because you don't know your identity outside of that. Is waiting to be discovered. Okay, who you are outside of that pain and trauma that was that happened to you is unknown, and that is the fear. So it's like, if I cling to what happened to me, then at least I know it's the devil I know, right? Instead of the unknown. Wow, powerful message. Let's get one more, then I'll get tarot. What else? More shadow energy for my viewers, please. Journey inward. Look, the path to enlightenment starts within you. Introspection and growth. Look at the story that's being told here. Unknown, leading you to the journey inward. And that's what you're being called to do, my loves, okay? You're being called to go inward. Your shadow is wanting, I don't know, this is very specific message today. So if you find yourself here watching this, I feel like you're somebody who has dealt with a lot of grief, a lot of shame, a lot of betrayal. Or it's just one huge betrayal, guilt, shame. And it has led you to a place where you could be taking this energy out in, you know, encounters, real intimate encounters, you know, rage, being stubborn, maybe possibly overworking yourself, okay? Possibly exercising too much. And I know there's such thing as too much, guys. I know it sounds crazy, but to the point where, you know, you don't eat properly to like fuel yourself. You'd rather just, you know, run and work out to the point of combustion to avoid dealing with or releasing whatever this is, because it will be an emotional release. Letting go creates space for new beginnings. Wow. Okay, so let's get some tarot. Let's get some tarot around this. What are you using? The ethereal herb deck. Let's get more for my viewers, please. Judgment. Yeah. I feel like this is a wake-up call. When I see the Judgment card, this is always wake-up call energy. And I feel like your shadow is wanting to wake you up to things that could be holding you back. Maybe some of you guys need to speak with someone, you know, a counselor, spiritual therapist, whatever works for you. You got the King of Wands. All right, because you guys are very, very powerful. Whether you're masculine or feminine, you're very creative. And there could be a blockage because in your creativity, maybe you're someone that feels like you never get attention, you never get, you know, your creative endeavors aren't ever recognized. Well, maybe that's because there's a release that needs to take place to make room for that. 3 of Cups. For some of you guys, I am getting the third party energy. There could be, yeah, 10 of Pentacles. Look at this. I just said family, 3 of Cups. Somebody, some of you, okay, sorry. When I start channeling fast, I start talking fast. Some of you guys, you have a chance for a new beginning. If you resonated with that storyline about someone leaving you and, you know, going to start another family, you're about to have a second chance, okay, to get that quote unquote back. Not with that person necessarily, but you're going to get back everything that was quote unquote taken from you. If somebody betrayed you, cheated, went and had another family with somebody else, you're going to get what's coming to you. 4 of Wands. Some of you guys, it's definitely what's coming. And that's definitely what happened. No matter what side of the coin you're on, okay? You could have really been through a lot. Beat yourself up if you were the one that did this. The Fool, a new beginning. I can't make it up. Aries energy. So you have a new beginning coming. Right now, you could feel stuck with the Hangman here, but that's because it's time to journey inward to the unknown, to To find out who you are outside of this trauma, this betrayal, this shadow energy that's lurking, it's time to release, my loves, okay? And sending love to everyone who has experienced this or is going through this right now. Sending love to those that are carrying a lot of guilt and shame around their own shortcomings and betrayals and lies. You know, that's where the healing starts, okay? Nobody is above healing and redemption. It just takes the awareness and the action to not want to hurt again. All right. Wow, my loves. Thank you so much. That was very straight and to the point. If you resonated with this, would love to know how in the comments. Until next time.